Entering Kenmore. Doors will open on the left.
How's it going, everyone? Welcome to episode 48 of Entering Kenmore. I am David Azer alongside Zach Coe. Zach, apparently something about openers is the only thing that makes the Red Sox win baseball games in 2026 because they are now 2-7. They have won on opening day and in the home opener. And every other game in the book so far has been an L. It has been really insufferable to watch as of recently. It was great getting back into baseball games that matter. And I don't know if anyone told the Red Sox that these games matter yet because it has been a slow start. It is really depressing that the Red Sox are coming out of the gates this poor. But yeah, we'll get into a bit of everything. I think there are still some overreactions from a vast majority of the fan base that we can get into here, but it's not great. How are you feeling?
So I think I've pieced it together. So here's my Red Sox record in attendance. Doc, there are three separate categories. First one, games attended record. Second one, Spanish radio production record. And third one, EEI record. Spanish radio record, 0-4. WEEI production record, 0-2. Games attended record, 1-0. So I think I just have to quit my jobs and become a full-time Red Sox attendee.
There you go.
So John Henry, Craig Breslow, whoever. Craig Breslow, you should listen to this part of the podcast and then probably tune out for the rest of it because it's not going to be super kind to you. But whoever needs to do it, whoever wants to make me a full-time Red Sox attendee, I'll travel. I'll sit underneath the plane if need be with all the equipment and luggage and stuff. I'll sit wherever, but whoever wants to make me the full-time attendee, I am available because your winning percentage is 1,000 with me in attendance. So there's that.
Yeah, people need to start paying attention to the Zach Coe effect. I don't think enough people are giving credit there.
Zach Coe not working.
Yeah, if he's getting paid to watch the Red Sox, no,
bad news.
They don't care. But it has to be you're paying for overpriced beers. At least Sam Summers are in rotation, and we did have a good time on Friday night. But since then, it has been all downhill, and even really before that, it was already going downhill. There was a brief glimpse of hope. It's like, okay, they're back home, and that was a pretty good win. And then promptly 2 bad losses in a row to the Padres, and they look lost. They are searching for answers. I don't think they're coming soon. It is pretty evident, and like we said last episode in that quick 40 minutes we did before this Padres series, we were like, yeah, these pieces clearly don't fit together. And Craig Breslow has shown that he is in over his head. And then it kind of unfolded because I think a lot of people are placing the blame on Alex Cora for whatever reason. And I think we need to remind ourselves that if the Red Sox were to move on from Alex Cora, teams would hire him instantly. I firmly believe that people would fire their current managers and hire Alex Cora. Like, that's how quickly it would change. And I just don't know if that's the right move when it's so clear that your president of baseball operations has put you in between a rock and a hard place because there just aren't enough spots for all these guys. We're seeing it. Cedar Rafaela got the off day today, and the lineup put together a pretty good day. But even still, you don't come out on top. So it really doesn't matter, like, how you want to formulate this lineup. And you have a ton of different options, I think, but you have too many options. We should just have some sort of consistency, get these guys every day at bats, because that's what helps the most to get out of this funk. If you're not playing every day, then that only what's up?
Just the word you said.
What'd I say?
Funk.
Oh, I didn't put the Y at the end though.
Yeah,
so I think that's fine. I think that's allowed.
Clear. That's clear.
But yeah, I think I was basically done.
Yeah, well, it's the dumbest faction of the fan base is always going to want Cora's head. It's something that we've experienced for the last however many years. But when was it 2024 when he signed that extension, and then immediately like the Phillies extended Rob Thompson? Like there were so many teams that haven't been able to get over the hump that would take a manager like Alex Cora, who has however many rings, one ring with the Astros as a bench coach, one as a player, was the manager for the greatest Red Sox team of all time. Like you said, there are a half dozen teams that would fire their managers in a heartbeat to bring in a guy like Alex Cora. I don't think it's his fault. Like you said, the roster doesn't make any sense, and we've been beating this drum for 7 months, 5 months, like all off season. We're saying the roster doesn't make sense, and the main goal of Breslow for the off season should be to make it make sense, and he somehow made it make less sense, if that is somehow possible. Like
he sure
we
did.
Talked about it, the kicking the can down the road on the outfield logjam. He continued to do that, and the Red Sox now have no leverage in any type of deal. Like at some point, everyone in baseball knows that at some point a deal has to be made involving one of the Red Sox outfielders, and now the answer is becoming more and more clear as to which one of the two it should be, between Cedon, or which two it should be, either Cedon Rafaela or Jarren Duran, because Wilyer Abreu is off to a scorching start. He looks like a piece that it's going to be moving forward, and I know that we were both leaning those two guys to begin with, but now everybody in baseball knows that it's these two guys that you're choosing between. And of the two, I think it's going to be Duran that they're looking to move. And again, everyone in baseball is going to know that Duran is the guy that they're looking to move, because Rafael is signed long-term. He's a platinum glove defender, although it didn't look like it in this series against the Padres. And he's, like I said, he's locked up. So, and Duran is still in arbitration. There haven't been any whispers of anything about looking to extend him or anything of the sort. And I think they think he's the most valuable of the bunch to move, because they continue to say, 2024, top 7 in MVP voting, he's really good. So you've lost all your leverage. You let your leader walk in free agency after you traded your best player because you brought in this leader. And now you don't have a leader, you don't have your best player, you have a bunch of pieces that don't fit together, but it's okay because we panicked, and when that leader signed with the Chicago Cubs, we brought in pitcher Pablo Sandoval, which is really awesome. It's really good. And not only do you bring in pitcher Pablo Sandoval, but you added how many starting pitchers in the offseason, on top of 2 top 20 overall prospects in the entire sport that are starting pitchers that debuted for you last year. So no, all this to say, no, I don't think it's Alex Cora's fault. He's trying to put a puzzle together where he's missing 5 different pieces, and he put in a request with the manufacturer to get those missing pieces, and he just sent them 5 pieces that he already had. And he's trying to jam these square pegs into round holes, and it's not fitting, and there's no one to blame other than the guy who is so inordinately in over his head that words can't even describe it. Craig Breslow had absolutely no business becoming the player of baseball operations for the Boston Red Sox. It starts all the way up at the top with John Henry, with Sam Kennedy, with Tom Warner. It's why you heard sell the team chants today. They cycle through these GMs, players of baseball operations, whatever you want to call them, like they're going out of style, and then finally the dam breaks, and it's like, okay, well then who the fuck wants to take this job? And that's what we found out. Nobody wants to take the job. Kim Ng, nope. AJ Preller, nope. Any number of how many guys did they ask to interview before they were like, okay, well, I guess we'll go after Craig Breslow because we wanted him in a pitching development role, and this is the only way we can get him. Like, he's not cut out for this role. He didn't have enough experience. It's something I've harped on before. He never worked in a front office before. He worked remotely with the Chicago Cubs from Connecticut. He worked for a Chicago-based team in Connecticut and now is trying to run a just as even more important, no offense to the Cubs, organization in Major League Baseball. It's a train wreck from the top down. And now the unfortunate thing about it is that you're stuck with Breslow, because if you fire Breslow now after year 3, just like you did Dombrowski, just like you did Chaim Bloom, you're going to find yourself in that exact same position you were in 3 years ago when you hired Breslow, where everyone's saying that job has zero job security. Why would I want to take this when in 3 years I'm going to be out of there? Like, it's an awful situation that this ownership group has put themselves in, and they don't have anyone to blame but themselves. And as long as this bullshit continues, I think fans should continue chanting "sell the team" at games. Not that I think it's going to matter to these people. You think they're watching the games to hear that people are saying "sell the team"? No, they're sitting there counting their money. John Henry's sitting in that couch smoking a cigar that he salary dumped Rafael Devers and for 1 year of Alex Bregman.
We are in purgatory. I mean, because it feels like we jump on here every time and kind of just say the same thing in different fonts because nothing has changed, and it's not going to change anytime soon. And it's so unfortunate as a fan who dedicates so much time to watching this team and following it closely, and putting not all my money, but investing a lot of time and money into this team, when it's clear the people who are running the show don't do that same thing. It's just embarrassing. It's embarrassing to follow a team this closely and know that they're pretty close to contending for an actual World Series title, but the ownership has no desire to put this team over the top. Like, we're just going to stay in this purgatory because we're hesitant to move on from Jarren Duran unless it's the exact deal we're looking for. Like, it's a disaster. We went into this season, and honestly, even last season, being like, yeah, there are too many outfielders. What's going to happen when Roman Anthony comes up? And he's come up, and now you see one of these guys getting an off day pretty much every single day. It's insane. And credit to Masataka Yoshida, because he's actually been pretty good so far this year. And I know he was the guy who I tabbed as like, he's not going to finish the year with this team. I still don't believe that. Maybe he's upping his trade value at this point, but it's not really his fault either. Like, all these guys are trying to make the most out of a bad situation. And if anything, if Duran isn't playing every day and sometimes you're putting him at DH, then that only hurts his trade value even more. And you just put out an article saying that Alex Cora didn't want to play Roman Anthony at DH pretty much ever. And he's already played 3 games there this season?
Yeah, so shameless plug, check it out. Roundtable.io/Red Sox Roundtable. So the last 3 days, Roman Anthony has been DHing. Essentially, so 8 months ago when Anthony just got called up in July, Cora got asked about him playing DH, and he essentially said, like, hopefully never. He's never going to play DH. This is a 21-year-old kid. He has to play the field. And now, yesterday before the game, Cora said that Anthony's been DHing because they don't like where he's at with his footwork defensively. So he needs to work on his footwork before he can get back out into the outfield. So, yeah, I mean, like, in this scenario, they're lucky that they have a piece like Jarren Duran that can go out there. But like you said, they're still a pretty good major league player that's finding themselves on the bench every single day. And it almost makes me think that too many of these people that were projecting the Red Sox to, like, the national folks that were projecting the Red Sox to have massive seasons, we're just looking at fan graphs and being like, okay, well, they're projected for this amount of WAR, and that ranks them as first in the AL East. So I'm going to pick them first in the AL East. And didn't actually look at the roster at all because, like, yeah, all these guys are projected for X amount of WAR, but they're not going to play enough to accrue this WAR. So, like, I just don't know where, like, there is, and now at this point, the season started, there is no deal coming. This is the roster for the foreseeable future. Like, and it's a roster that has talent, but like I said, it's a roster where you're missing 5 pieces to the puzzle, which is what makes it even more maddening because you're right on the doorstep. Like, and we can come on here and bitch about the investment level from ownership or anything you want, but the fact of the matter is that they actually went out there and handed out $130 million contract this year on a guy who can't miss any bats, and a guy who made a living, made a career off of nibbling in and around the strike zone and pretty much begging umpires to make bad calls. Guess what gets a lot harder to do in the new ABS era? Nibble around the strike zone and get umpires to make bad calls, especially when you're not missing bats. And that's what they did with Ronher Suarez, who again looked good for however many innings, 2 innings, and then in the third and fourth, just the wheels completely fall off because he doesn't miss any bats. You can't be a pitch to contact pitcher in today's day and age of Major League Baseball. And you would have thought for a pitching guru like Craig Breslow and Andrew Bailey and Kyle Bodie and the Driveline group that they have in here, that they would have been able to piece that together and figure it out. But evidently they weren't, and which is what makes me think that the Suarez signing was just simply, oh fuck, these people have the pitchforks out that Alex Bregman walked. Ronher Suarez, do you want to be a Boston Red Sox? You do? How about $130 million? You'll take it? Sweet. Like, that's what it feels like. Because how else does that make sense?
It doesn't. And especially because Eugenio Suarez was still on the board at that point. Like, why didn't you just pivot to him? And I know people still would have been mad as like, okay, we're replacing Bregman with a guy who can't play any defense, but at least he would have brought some pop to this lineup, which you've seen that they've still been kind of missing. Wilyer Abreu has been lighting the world on fire, but even still, like, you're not seeing the power numbers at all, really.
So you bring up an interesting point that I want to touch on. Eugenio Suarez. You mentioned the defense. What was the other big knock on why people didn't want Eugenio Suarez to be on the Boston Red Sox?
He strikes out a lot.
He strikes out a lot. And now in 2026, the Boston Red Sox finds themselves as an offense striking out a grand total. That's players. A grand total of 28.1% of the time, good for 5th highest K rate in Major League Baseball. And you know what Eugenio Suarez does? He slugs. So, okay, he strikes out a lot, but he slugs. This was a team built on putting the ball in play and not striking out a lot. I just told you they're striking out a lot. They rank 17th in slugging percentage in Major League Baseball. So now, not only do you not have anybody that can hit the ball out of the ballpark to counteract all the strikeouts, you're also striking out at an inordinate rate. The same amount of strikeouts that you had last year. Through the first 6 games of the season, it was more strikeouts than through the first 6 games of last season, and that was with Rafael Devers striking out every time he came up to the plate.
It's a good point.
The roster construction makes no fucking sense. None. And it's pissing me off the more and more we sit here and talk about it. You didn't go out. You can't sign Eugenio Suarez because he strikes out too much, but he hits 1,000,000 home runs. So you're going to go with a team that puts the ball in play and doesn't strike out, except, surprise, they're still striking out at a ridiculous rate, except now they're hitting .223 with the 17th highest slugging percentage in baseball. Like, what are we doing here? What are we talking about?
Oh man, yeah, this I was hoping this would be a little therapeutic, but I'm kind of just getting more upset the more we talk about it. It's hard to put into words how infuriating this team is and has been for the last few seasons. Like, I understand that people are trying to blame Cora because they're not prepared for ABS challenges. Right. They're not prepared for ABS challenges. They're still playing bad defense, and they're still making dumb moves on the base running side of things or whatever. It's still a dumb team, and it has been for a while. But at a certain point, I'm like, is Cora the problem there, or is it guys that they should have moved on from, like Pete Fatsi? These guys who, hey, maybe we should work on getting the ball in play remotely with runners in scoring position, because that has also still been a flaw this year.
And that's something that Cora's been harped on all offseason. Anytime somebody asked Alex Cora, give me an overview of your team, like, what is the Red Sox offense going to be? It was a week before the season started. He was on the Baseball Tonight podcast with Buster Olney, and it was recorded a week before it dropped, the day after the WBC finale, and Cora's going through, it was like a 1.5-minute answer about what the offense is going to be, And he said, and we're going to put the ball in play, especially with men on. You saw it last night. You put the ball in play, good things can happen. Talking about Venezuela. Venezuela puts the ball in play, they win the championship. They're not doing that either. And just quickly before, because I do want to tackle your Fatsy point, you build a team on putting the ball in play and run preventing, and you're hitting 223 through the first 9 games of the season, and you currently rank 20th in baseball with a 4.28 ERA. So, which part of putting the ball in play and preventing runs? And again, just another quick aside before the Fatsy thing. They're not prepared for the ABS system. Man, if only there was a guy whose title was game plan coordinator. Man, they would be wait a second. Hang on. I'm getting word that that's the person that all these people that don't like Alex Cora want to make the manager. It just
Who's that?
That'd be Jason Varitek. Where here I'll put on my my EEI call hat. Yeah, dude, he's the fucking can't swear. Sorry, I won't swear if I get on air. He's the captain guy. He's got to be the manager. It's Varitek, kid. Like I'm sorry. Like I like Jason Varitek as a player, as a coach. He is effectively completely worthless to me. His title is the game planning coordinator and run prevention coach.
His job is to get the biggest crowd pop when they announce the coaching
on opening
staff.
day. Yeah, exactly. They announce the coaching staff and everyone, welcome back to Boston, number 33, the captain, Jason Varitek. Ba-bam! And then everyone goes, yeah, Tech, yeah, woo!
I mean,
that's how it goes.
What else does he do? But yeah, like you
Nothing.
said, you had something on Fatsy.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of all goes hand in hand, where it's like they look woefully unprepared, and it's the same issues every year, where it's like, okay, last year we struck out too much, we didn't put the ball in play enough with runners in scoring position, we weren't very effective in really from August on, after really since the Rafael Devers trade on, but they found ways to manufacture runs. So they're like, okay, we're going to build this team that's based on putting the ball in play and not striking out as much. And now they're not putting the ball in play and still striking out as much. And let me quickly grab the numbers here with men on base. But the last time I looked, which was I think yesterday, they were also putrid. So I just don't know, at some point, somebody somewhere has to go, wait a second. Last year, we had a team that could hit home runs, but they struck out too much, and they didn't do a good enough job putting the ball in play with men on base. This year, we built a team that was built specifically to put the ball in play and not strike out as much, and yet we're doing exactly that. I wonder what the common denominator is there. There's not one person smart enough in the entire Red Sox organization to be like, wait a second, there is one common denominator. And that'd be Pete Fatsy right now with runners on base, not in scoring position, just simply on base. The Red Sox are 27th in baseball, hitting .208 with a .569 OPS. Simply with men on base. They are striking out at a 28.8% rate with men on base. Like, wait a second.
Not great.
Like, and again, I don't love doing the whole, like, oh, you gotta fire this guy. Like, I don't like calling for people to lose their jobs. But at a certain point, when is enough enough? Or when is enough with the Pete Fatsy experience? You built the team to do the exact opposite of what they've been doing for the last however many years under Fatsy, and they're continuing to do it.
He got booed pretty hard on opening day, too.
He should.
Yeah.
He should get booed picking up his coffee in the morning.
I don't think I could pick him out of a crowd. That's the only problem with that.
That's a good point. Yeah.
If I saw him at Dunkin' Donuts, there's no way I'd be able to be like, you're Pete Fatsy. I don't think that would happen. But oh my God, like it's just I don't understand how no one thought to be like, maybe we should move on from Pete Fatsy or Kyle Hudson, who both looked bad last year, and even Kyle Hudson more so just because you saw him send runners that got gunned out promptly, like in multiple key spots. So
yeah,
and he's the outfield defense coordinator or whatever the formal title is.
Yeah.
And we've got Cedar Rafaela missing fly balls, and it's just no one seems prepared still. And I guess that's in the infield as well. But it's like, when is enough enough? Like you said, I don't understand how you didn't have to clean house, but like you had to do something after you failed to put up a single run in a winner go home game in the Bronx against Cam Schlittler, who I understand is on the come up and has been pretty good this year. But you mean to tell me you couldn't scratch across any runs whatsoever?
Mhm.
And you're like, okay, well, we're fine. Let's just run it back with the exact same staff. Like, no, good teams don't do that. It's just, I'm tired of it.
I don't know that I can get there on Hudson just because I feel like it's tough to fire your outfield coordinator when you had two guys win a Gold Glove. And like,
Sure.
and Roman's metrics were pretty good out there too last year. He didn't qualify, but it was a 6 outs above average, which would have ranked him like top 20 in all outfielders in baseball last
honestly,
year.
I'm just trying to get someone fired. I don't care who.
I don't care who it is, just get him out. Yeah, I just don't. But with Fatsy, I don't understand, especially now that you've got, like I said, you've gone this avenue of putting the ball in play and not striking out as much, and now they're doing still exactly what they're supposedly built to not do. Like at a certain point, it needs to be changed, and I think probably we're heading towards that scenario at some point. I mean, like I said, who knows how quickly they're going to be willing to pull the plug on these things, but it's so frustrating. And even like today, the offense finally starts to get going with Cedar Rafaela on the bench.
Interesting.
Weird. Yeah, weird, but you finally get the offense going, and after every single inning that the Red Sox scored runs, the pitching staff couldn't put up a 0. Literally every single inning that the Red Sox scored a run in, the pitching staff went and handed it right back and then some. And it goes your yesterday too. Your best pitcher, your best reliever, Aroldis Chapman, you scratch and claw and catch a break in Saturday's game to tie the game in the bottom of the 8th, and you promptly give it back in the 9th. It's just every game it's something. It's different shit every day, and that's what makes it so annoying. Like it's just we've been saying it, texting back and forth. They can't let us have too much fun for too long. That's when it's like like we got to give this run back. It sucks. It's annoying.
Yeah, and it seemed like you said, like every glimpse of hope we had this weekend against the Padres, it just got taken right back like 10 minutes later. It was so annoying, like just so mind-numbing watching this weekend series. And I worry that it doesn't get better, because you look at the schedule, you got the Brewers coming up, then you have a couple easier series. I think it's the Cardinals and then the Twins. But after that, the rest of this month is absolute hell. You go from the Tigers to the Yankees to the Orioles to the Blue Jays. That is, I mean, it could get catastrophic in April. Like that's
and such
where
is
the
life in the AL
is.
East.
Yeah,
like that's just you're in the AL East, which we did the preview on. It's a loaded division. You have the Yankees, who are a perennial playoff team every year. The Blue Jays, who are the reigning AL champions, who just added Dylan Cease and Kazuma Okamoto, who I know is striking out at a really high rate, but he's been pretty solid other than the strikeout rate. He's hit 3 home runs. He's solid defensively. Like it's just. And then you have the Orioles, who went out and signed Pete Alonso, and I know we're not super high on their pitching staff, but like they should be a pretty solid team too. Like we're talking about potentially digging yourself such a big hole that it's impossible to climb out from, and we're just 9 games into the season.
Yeah, it's tough to start out 2-7 and then be like, "Whoa, this is still a playoff team." Like it.
Right.
I don't know. It just feels different. Like we've had slow starts in the past, and they've kind of been able to figure it out, at least become a semi-competent team. I just see no signs of that with this one. I understand that it's only like a trip and a half through the rotation. These guys will ebb and flow, and maybe it just so happens that they're all starting slow and will rebound eventually. Like I don't think Garrett Crochet is going to go out there and look like he did in Houston every time out. Like that's just simply not going to happen. But the question has to be asked with Ron Harris Suarez, because like you said, it's kind of like his whole approach is now out the window because of ABS. And I don't see that changing, because now you're forcing him.
He's not going to,
right. Like
he's not going to magically find 10 miles an hour. Like, he's not going to, the cutter isn't going to magically be 99 in his next start because he has to adapt. He's 30 years old. Like, this is who he is as a pitcher.
And you could get away with that when you had Laz Diaz, CB Buckner behind the plate being allowed to make calls like that. But like you said, now with ABS, it's almost impossible to nibble because you're going to get called on all of those. And if you force him to come in with 91 on the fastball, like, yeah, that's going to get hit around by anyone with a functioning brain. And you saw it with the Padres. Like, he got into the middle of the order in the fourth, like right after you put up a big inning or whatever. Maybe it was the fourth to the fifth.
Yeah, third or fourth, I think it was.
But yeah, you put up 4 runs, and Wilyer Braves hitting triples. Jarren Duran's getting things going. It was fun. And then literally 10 minutes later, Ron Hare's giving up a 3 spot,
and it's gone.
Yeah, and we can't have fun. It's so disheartening. Like, there was a chance that this year could have been the one where they got over the top, but how they went about the offseason really just threw a wrench in all that. And now it's like, you're kind of in purgatory. Like, where do you go from here? Because if you're not going to open up the checkbooks, then we're just going to be having the same conversation in October again.
And I think two things stand out of what you said there. The first being that we've had slow starts before, but this one feels different. It doesn't feel like there's a way out of this one. And it's because the front office doesn't have a plan. They've shown that they don't have a plan. Craig Breslow's arguably three biggest moves were all panic based. We know he didn't want Bregman, so I will not count that one as a victory for Craig Breslow. I'll count that as a victory for Alex Cora, who wanted Alex Bregman and got him in the offseason before 2025. So he got his feelings hurt and panicked and traded Rafael Devers rather than having a normal boss to employee communication system with him. He missed out on Joe Ryan at the trade deadline and traded James Tibbs, who went to the Dodgers organization and promptly became Barry Bonds for Dustin May. And then when he cornered himself into a situation where he had no choice but to bring Alex Bregman back, but we couldn't give him a pesky little no trade clause on a contract that was already going to be unmovable in and of itself, he signs Ronher Suarez, who is as washed gets. Like you said, he can't come out over the middle of the plate because that's when he gets punished. And he can't nibble because with ABS, it's forcing umpires to actually do their jobs effectively. And it's that's the state of the team right now. And there's no plan to getting out of it. Like, Heim had plenty of flaws, but at least with Heim, it felt like there was a plan. It felt like there was, and plenty of people hated Heim. I saw this on Twitter earlier. I don't know who it was, but shout out to you because it's totally true. With Heim, there was a faction of the fan base that hated Heim, and then there was the Bluminati faction where I fell into things. I don't know that there's one person that likes Craig Breslow. Like, Craig Breslow has a 0.0% approval rating among Boston Red Sox fans. Like,
but he also has all the job security in the world, like you said.
Yeah, exactly. And no plan on what to do and how to improve things because, he's lost all his leverage in all of these moves. Like, there is no outfield trade where the Red Sox don't get ripped off. And even if there were, he's so obsessed with trying to win every deal by 80-90% that he can't even just make a fair trade for Jarren Duran and call it a day. Or even at this point, I'm all set with Cedar Rafaela. I am. I didn't really like him beforehand. He hits a couple home runs. He gets scorching hot for a 1 month period, and then for the rest of the season is one of the most useless hitters in all of Major League Baseball, but he plays a good defense. Jarren Duran's, the drop-off between Cedar Rafaela's defense in center field compared to Jarren Duran's is not enough for me to be saying that Cedar Rafaela should A, be on this team over Jarren Duran, or B, be playing over Jarren Duran every day. And especially not Masataka Yoshida. I think Masa's done a fantastic job of earning his playing time. He was great today.
Absolutely. I will give him credit where credit is due. I have made it very clear I don't like him. And
I was ready to come on the pod and be out on Masa because he changed his walk-up song from You're Welcome.
But he changed it to today. Kanye. It's a questionable move. I
was
wonder,
gonna say, you of all people should be like, you're
I
still
know.
on the Kanye bandwagon.
No, I'm not on the Kanye bandwagon. I just like his music. It's not like I'm going to SoFi Stadium.
Separate the art from the artist type of deal.
It is like, it's not easy to do, but it's something I have to
Yeah.
do just because I like his music a lot, and I'm Jewish, so I feel like I'm allowed to make that call.
That's true.
But-
Well, so I guess that's a fair point. Yeah, I guess you would be like if anyone's allowed to make that call, it would be you. I would say that's a good point.
But yeah,
okay.
all this to
fine.
say, Kanye Masa is something.
Kanye
is a
Masa.
thing of beauty. I don't know how else to put it. Like, he changed his walk-up song to "Touch the Sky." I'm pretty sure. I haven't heard it.
Tune. I was gonna say I haven't. Well, I've never heard that tune.
Oh, you haven't? It's a pretty good one.
No, so I jumped out on Kanye circa, like, I don't know that I've listened start to finish to a full Kanye album since Life of Pablo.
That's fair. I mean, it kind of was downhill from there, I would say.
Yeah, once he got into the Jesus music, that's pretty much where that's where I called it quits.
Yeah, like I'm not like waiting for his new releases. I think he just dropped an album recently, and I haven't listened
Yeah, it was
to
when he
yet.
posted the apology for hailing Hitler.
Yeah, which is like, the more we talk about this, the more I'm like,
Yeah.
maybe I probably shouldn't. Yeah, maybe I should
Conveniently
walk that
enough. Yeah. Conveniently enough, when Kanye decided that he wasn't anti-Semitic anymore, coincided with an album drop.
back. Well, he watched 21 Jump Street, I think, and then said he saw like Jonah Hill. And I don't even think Jonah Hill is Jewish. I'm not sure on that. But then he was like, yeah, I'm not anti-Semitic anymore. So
That can't be. No, that can't be the story. What?
yeah, did you not
Kanye-
see? Oh, he put it on socials. I wonder if he deleted it, but that was a while ago.
Did he?
Before he
Yeah,
did
I'm-
his like actual apology.
Oh yeah, here it is. IMBD. Kanye West says Jonah Hill in 21 Jump Street made me like Jewish people again.
Yeah, yeah. So actually, the more I think about it, maybe we shouldn't be pushing the Kanye Masa agenda.
Yeah,
but
Masa
it is kind
should
of
stay as far away from Kanye as
it's
possible.
kind of wild to go from Moana to Kanye.
It is quite the jump. Well, that's his whole thing with the Moana was that his daughter picked it or his kid picked it. I think it was his daughter picked it.
So who
like,
picked this? Did she
yeah.
pick this?
she
There's no
aged like
shot.
10 years in one
Yeah.
year.
We went from
Went
Moana
from
to
loving
Kanye.
Moana. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
But,
insane.
All that to say, Masa was great today and deserves
Yes.
more playing time.
Shout him out. Yeah. Credit where credit is due. I kind of did the same thing with Romy last year, so maybe he's my Romy this
You
year.
did, yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Romy, by the way, getting introduced on opening day. He looked fine to me, so I don't know what's going on.
Well, and I could hear you all the way. You were up in the press box, and I was all the way down in Grandstand 9, and there, Romy Gonzalez. Ta-da! And I could hear David going, "Yeah, Romy!"
Oh, you didn't
That's
see
my
me
Obi!
though, dude. I took off my shirt. I started waving it around. Like no one is a bigger Romy fan than me.
Yeah, it was a real to do. Junior was trying to like hold you back, like pull you out of the box.
I was
way.
popping my head out of the window. Like,
Romy up here, Romy, it's me, David.
Oh Jesus!
This one's gone off the rails quickly.
What else is there to do, man? Like I mean, I don't want to go game by game here because the whole series sucked. Like, Friday was fun. The vibes were great. We had a wonderful post game that I wasn't expecting to happen. And then I woke up very hungover, but it is what it is. Because when the Red Sox win, we celebrate. But unfortunately, they've only done that twice out of 9 games. So is there anything else we want to hit on?
Trevor Story. I need him out of the 2-hole so unbelievably immediately. It's not even funny. He has been one of the worst hitters in baseball to start the season. And I know, last year everyone was beating the DFA Trevor Story drum, and then he turned it on and became one of their best hitters last year. And look at how last year ended up. Like, if Trevor Story's one of your best hitters, I still contend that you're not a very good baseball team. If Trevor Story's your number 2 hitter, I can tell you with 100% certainty that you are not a very good baseball team. And that's what they've been. And I don't think Roman has been anything special to start the year. Like it certainly hasn't carried over from the World Baseball Classic. I think that he's being maybe a little bit too passive with some of his pitches, which I think was a knock on him. I know it was a knock on him when he was coming up, was that he kind of like was too selective, almost to a detriment. And then he gets himself behind in counts and then is caught having to chase. But it's just, there's no reason to pitch to Roman right now, even with him going the way that he's going, because Trevor Story's behind him. We saw it in the Reds series where Graham Ashcraft wanted no business in pitching to Roman Anthony because Trevor Story's got a 40.5% strikeout rate behind him. He's hitting 108 going into today. It's up to 118 now on the season.
Oh, thank God.
It's just, he's just not a two-hole hitter on a serious baseball team. And I know, like, oh, it's early. It's not really early because we just said it. You have the potential to dig yourself a hole that you can't come out of in this division. And last year we saw the offense keep the team afloat until the pitching staff turned it on and became one of the best staffs in baseball. You're not going to be able to hit your way out of these troubles today. The pitching staff, like I just said, is 20th in ERA in Major League Baseball. You scored 6 runs today. It's the first time you scored 6 runs all year, and you still lose the game 8-6. Like, this is not an offense that's built to, and they told you that since they signed Ron Hair Suarez. I forgot I was committed to that. Since they signed Suarez, they told you they were going run prevention and good defense. And that's not a team. You don't say that about a team that's built to hit your way out of problems. And they're not going to be able to do that. They can't bide their time until July when the pitching staff turns it on.
No. And it doesn't help that the bullpen's already getting taxed too, because these guys haven't been able to go deep in games either. Like Ryan Watson, I don't know what they're doing. Like it seems like every third day he's going like 3 innings because he has to bridge the gap to the bullpen. And at that point, like I don't really put any onus on him because you're making this dude go 3 innings and facing a full lineup. Like I don't think that's a recipe for success. And
no,
Connolly Early looked okay against the Padres Saturday, but his pitch count was way too high for the point he was in the game, and he was working through traffic pretty much the whole outing. So, and I know that's a good lineup, and he looked good against the Reds, so I'm willing to give him a pass, but it helps that Sonny Gray looked better in the home opener. But if you got Ron Hare giving you this every 5th day, then the rotation is largely in the same spot as it was last year when you had Walker Buehler or Dustin May going every 5th day. Like, it's still kind of the same problem, and I understand you have guys waiting in the wings, like Cutter Crawford, I think is trending towards a rehab start, or maybe already made it.
Yeah, he's going to be... So Cutter is going to be throwing a 4-inning simulated game is what it sounded like, either tomorrow or Tuesday at Fenway. Patrick Sandoval was slated to make his first rehab appearance in Somerset with the Sea Dogs this afternoon. That game got rained out, so that got pushed back to Wednesday with the Woo Sox. So 2 guys. And then Oviedo, we're waiting on, he's going to Texas to meet with the doctor who did his Tommy John surgery to compare the MRIs. Didn't sound like there was anything structural, but he did lose 2.5 miles an hour on his fastball. What do you want? Why are you digging in your bowl? She's fired up about
She's got takes.
Yeah, she's got all the takes. Just digging in her bowl. But yeah, so we'll see. But even then, like, they're not going to bump any of these guys out of the rotation. No. The only guy that was potentially going to get bumped out of the rotation for poor performance was Connolly Early, so they could continue to fiddle with his service time. But he's been so good that he's locked into a rotation spot, I think, now. Like, obviously, the command wasn't great against the Padres on Saturday, but I think he still had a pretty solid start, all things considered. It was only 1 run. I don't think he's had his A-plus stuff in either of his 2 starts, and he's allowed a grand total of 2 earned runs. So... Or is it 2 or 3? But either way.
Yeah, whichever. It should be enough for the offense to hit their way out of it, and they haven't been able to either time. And it also didn't help that congrats on the sack scare, Whitlock. And I don't know if they've had the kid yet or if they're still waiting, but he was placed on the paternity list before the Padres series.
I believe he did. Cora said he's going to be back tomorrow.
I should know this. I mean, I can't believe
you're the Garrett
haven't
Whitlock
been
guy.
Yeah, that's hand up on that one. I should have done some research ahead of time, but thank God he's back. It didn't really matter, but you did have innings that maybe could have gone to Whitlock that you gave to Weissert and Coulomb, and Slayton looked good. But yeah, like it didn't help that Whitlock was missing for that. It was also unfortunate he didn't get to have his walkout on the home opener, because I really, if we're talking about anyone, I would have taken my shirt off for.
It would have been Whitlock. Yeah, it would have been a whole to do. Which honestly, maybe that's a good thing.
Yeah, for the
you
great
get to keep
people
your job.
of Fenway. Yeah. So
but
glad that I'm glad that didn't happen.
Things are so bleak, man. Things are so.
Do we want to even preview Brewers or?
Yeah, let's quickly go through it. Might as well.
All right, I have the starters at least, and it doesn't. Quick spoiler alert: it doesn't get easier for the Red Sox line.
But two things actually quickly. One on the Padres series too. Just a final thought on this one. Thank God that they got to Walker Buehler, because if they didn't get to Buehler, that would have been like catastrophic level. He is fucking awful. He is so bad.
Yeah.
But and Craig Stammen knows that he's awful because he's going to get DFA'd the second that Joe Musgrove is healthy. But he had the quickest hook I've ever seen with Buehler. The first sign of trouble, the first time they started getting to him, Stammen was sprinting out of that dugout to pull him. So thank God they got him. Second, thank God Kyle Harrison pitched today, because he would have so predictably shoved it up your ass if he was pitching against you at Fenway this week. It would have been, oh my God, if you thought the noise was loud on Breslow now, if Kyle Harrison waltzed into Fenway Park and diced up this Red Sox lineup like the rest of the Brewers pitching staff is about to do, it would have been Armageddon on Jersey Street. Especially with James Tibbs doing what he's doing, and Harrison comes in and immediately shoves it up your ass. You traded those two guys for Caleb Durbin, who sucks, and Dustin May, who was so bad that you sent him to the Shadow Realm for the playoff run and then let him walk in free agency. And these are the two centerpieces of the Rafael Devers trade.
Yep.
Not to mention Jordan Hicks, who you salary dumped.
Well, I know that we're probably not really missing Jordan Hicks in the grand scheme of things, but
Jose Bayo better be fucking Pedro Martinez. Jose Bayo better be Pedro Martinez. I'll say that.
I wouldn't hold your breath.
Well, I don't. Let's see. What is Jose Bayo? He has to be Dominican, right?
I don't know. Probably.
Yep. Yeah. Jose Bayo, Dominican professional baseball pitcher. So at some point in his career, Jose Bayo is going to be compared to Pedro Martinez by Pedro Martinez. That much I can tell you for certain, because every starter from the Dominican that comes up, Pedro's like, I see a lot of me in him. It's like, no, Pedro, I promise you don't.
Let's see. Kyle Harrison through 2 starts has a 2.61 ERA through 10 and a third, 14 Ks, and a whip at a .97. That would be nice.
Play.
Yeah, that will play. But let's get to the preview here. We have on Monday is 6:45 start, and that is Brian Bayo versus Brandon Woodruff. And Woodruff, I know, has been on the shelf for a while, and then when he came back, I want to say he was good for a little bit and then got hurt again, and now has had a full, fresh offseason.
Yeah, so Woodruff, his last full season is all the way back in 2022, but when he is on, he is really on, one of the best pitchers in baseball, type of on. After coming back last year, it was 64 2/3 innings pitched. But I'm looking at the splits here. I went all the way back to 2022, like I said. So take these with what you will, but this is really the last full season sample size that we had of Woodruff. This is 152 innings of work from him. At home at Miller Park or whatever they call it now, it's a 2.06 ERA. On the road, it's a 4.10. He's really hard to hit, but righties definitely see him better. He's a reverse splits guy. He's better against lefties than he is righties. It was a 237 batting average and 713 slugging or OPS against righties compared to 190 against lefties, and I'm just mathing. Just a math genius here, and a 570 OPS. Boom, take it. Suck on that math. Yeah, like I said, he's one of the best pitchers in baseball when he's healthy. He's the reason why the Brewers were willing to gamble on trading Freddie Peralta. Obviously, they got a pretty good return from the Mets, but he accepted the qualifying offer, would have been a free agent last year, but he also gambled on himself and said, I can put together a fully healthy season and see what he can do now at 33. He went 5 innings pitched in his first start and has a 10.0 or a 10.80 K per 9 so far to start the year. So pretty solid strikeout rate there. So yeah, so it's gonna be a lot of strikeouts for the Red Sox in this series, because then on Tuesday you get Jacob Misiorowski versus Garrett Crochet, and obviously we know what Misiorowski can do. He's one of the best strikeout pitchers in baseball.
Known all-star.
So yeah, so I wish there was my entering Kenmore lock of the series. It's not available because it doesn't exist. But if you could take a series strikeout over for the Boston Red Sox, I would say that would be the lock of the series. So maybe you just take the starters for the Brewers over K's in every single game. But yeah, it's gonna be a lot of strikeouts. Yeah, 5 innings pitched, 4 hits, 2 earned for Woodruff, 2 home runs against the Rays. He struck out 6 in those 5 innings. So obviously the lone damage he gave up was home runs, and the Red Sox don't know how to hit those, but they do know how to strike out a lot. So yeah,
Woodruff
they ever? Strikeouts.
And then on Wednesday it is Chad Patrick against Sonny Gray. And I want to say Chad Patrick cooked the Red Sox last year, because he was one of the guys who were like, Cade Povich, Chad Patrick looked like Pedro and Randy Johnson. So he's back.
Yeah.
The boogeyman has returned. Chad Patrick is on the bump on Wednesday.
Okay, so here's one. May 26th against the Red Sox. 4 2/3, 3 hits, no earned, 6 punchies.
Yeah, there it is. There it is. Oh my god. So
I mean, talk about like a generic, like you said it, like a 2K generated name, Chad Patrick.
Yep.
Like, that is tough. That is tough. And he's gonna shove it up your ass. I have no doubt that he's gonna shove it up your ass, because that's what this offense does. I don't know. Like I do at some point want to get into more in-depth pitching matchups, but it's just so hard when the offense the offense isn't going to do anything. Like Kyle Hart diced them up this afternoon. 2020 Red Sox legend Kyle Hart was out there dicing them up. So like, what is the point? Like I just like I said, at some point in the season, we're going to get into more in-depth pitching matchups. Maybe when Addy stops digging in the bowl, that's when we'll get into the pitching matchups. Yeah. But until then, I can't bring myself to be like, oh, Brandon Woodruff, here's what he throws, here's who hits what against him. I feel like I went pretty in depth with Woodruff, a guy who doesn't have a full season of stats since 2022. But aside from that, like I said, Misiorowski has some of the most electric stuff in the game. He's going to strike out probably 27 Red Sox on Tuesday.
I like it. That is the pick of the series right there. 27 up, 27
over
down.
26 and a half strikeouts.
Yeah, hammer the over. Yep. I will actually be boots on the ground for that one, so that'll be at least an entertaining pitching matchup. Probably
I'll be looking
loss,
for my first production win of this series. I've got all 3 games of this Brewers series, so looking for my
something's got to give.
Win.
Maybe that transitions
force into movable object.
We want to do predictions here because I have the Red Sox getting swept.
Let me take a quick look at what Chad Patrick did in his first start.
I'm pretty sure he has a sub 1.
Yeah, he sure does. Yeah. Against the White Sox, his first start, 4 1/3, 5 hits, 1 earned, 4 strikeouts. And then against the Royals, it was 5 innings, 4 hits, no runs, 3 Ks. Yeah, I got the Sox getting swept and falling to 2-10 on the season.
Yep, and you can take that to the bank. Do we want to talk bees or no?
Let's do a quick one because they were annoying too today.
Sure were.
But
taunts the Montreal bench. Moves around.
It's time for David's Bruins Breakdown.
It certainly is, and unfortunately, the Bruins have been my safe haven through the Red Sox start, and they haven't been doing us any favors lately either. They're in the midst of the playoff race. I'm pretty sure they're still holding the top wild card spot in the Eastern Conference. They got 1 point today, thankfully, because they did rally late to bring the game into overtime against the Flyers, but they did lose that one as well. It's interesting because I am pretty confident they make the playoffs, and I still think they're like not a dark horse, but like kind of the type of team that could knock off a better opponent in the first round. We'll see if that actually pans out. I'm going to take a look at the actual standings here real quick. So, yeah, the Bruins hold the top wild card spot at 95 points, and then the Senators are in second with 90. And then you got a bunch of teams hovering around there. The Islanders, Red Wings, Blue Jackets, Capitals, are really the other teams left in the hunt. So
the Flyers still in the mix?
Oh, yeah. The Flyers are currently, because of the win today, they're third in the Metropolitan.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
I don't know who they jumped, though, then. Who would that have been?
Probably the Islanders.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. The division, the whole like playoff seeding really still doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
It's so stupid. It is stupid.
Dumb.
Give us 1 through 8. And if it was 1 through 8, we'd be getting Bruins Canadiens first round,
which would have been electric and also a pretty winnable series, I think, because they played them well. Yeah, I think they're 2-1, maybe, or I don't know how many games they play against them. Is it 4?
Yes. Off the top of my head, I don't know for certain. But the problem's the same thing it's been all year with the Bruins. They can't score.
Oh, yeah.
Like they just
and James Higgins is begging to get the call. And we're not doing it. I don't think we are.
Yeah, 3 games in a row now. So 3 losses in a row. Panthers, Lightning, and now Flyers. And they've scored a grand total of 3 goals in those 3 games. 3 losses.
Yep.
One of which to the Panthers, who, like, I get it, have your number, but are a bottom 5 team in the league this year.
And the other 2 were tough. I mean, you take the point today because you got into overtime against the Flyers, but the Lightning felt pretty non-competitive. I think it was 1-1 pretty late, or maybe it was 2-1 pretty late, and then you pulled the goalie and they almost instantly got the empty net.
Yeah.
But,
which, like, is fine. It happens, but like at some point you have to win these games. And they did a good job at the end of March winning the games that they had to win. I mean,
right.
You beat the brakes off the Wild. You get a big win against the Blue Jackets. You beat the brakes off the Stars. But like, that's the problem with the streakiness of this team. Like, they're just, can you get them going long enough? And I know Jeremy Swayman is at the top of the league in terms of goals saved above expected. And he is the type of goalie that can get hot enough for you to go on the type of deep playoff run that could result in a cup. But the rest of those teams that do that can also score. And I just don't know that the Bruins can score at a consistent enough clip to do that. And actually, I do know. They can't. Like, how many games in the playoffs are you going to win 1-0? Like, they have precisely one player who can put the puck in the back of the net, and he's wearing 88 on his jersey. And it's just so easy to, like, Jason Varitek could game plan coordinate against the Bruins. It's just you trot out your best defensive pairing and your best defensive line whenever Pasternak's on the ice, and then aside from that, you can just kind of mix and match how you go. Like, Geeky's gone completely ice cold. He hasn't scored a goal since March 5th is the last Morgan Geeky goal. I'm not going to go through and count how many games that's been, but it's been over a month since he's last scored. And really since the calendar turned to 2026, Geeky is kind of whatever magic Morgan Geeky had in that stick for the 2025 season. It's gone. It's run out. The pumpkin, he's turned back into a pumpkin. That's what Morgan Geeky has done. And Elias Lindholm could smell the health bombs coming from a mile away. And I think Marco Sturm has done a really magnificent job. I mean, this is a Bruins team that came into the season with an 84.5 point total in Vegas, and they've got, 97 now?
95.
95 now. So you've blown past your point total, but he's done a really good job of keeping guys in the lineup and knowing when to push what buttons, because it was a good move moving him down to the third line, but now you have a third line that's making $15 million.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
That's
you're
just
putting him with, who is it?
Yeah, Jeannot. It's Lindholm, Jeannot, and Geeky.
Yep.
That's just not a successful, well-built hockey team does not have a $15 million third line. And
sure doesn't.
Which goes back to my problem with the roster construction and Sweeney as a general manager in general, but we'll save that for the offseason. They did a good enough job in the month of March to where it would take a pretty catastrophic collapse, not impossible, but a pretty catastrophic collapse for them to miss the playoffs now. But I still just stand by the fact that I don't this isn't a cup year. I'm not going into the playoffs with any type of expectations about winning a series. Last week I was riding high. Bridget Prue talked me into them beating the Hurricanes if they matched up with them in the first round. I don't think they could do that anymore. It's just, I don't know. Things are bleak, and with Hagen's just sitting down there in the AHL, I don't care that he has 1 goal in 6 games. He's clearly not ready. Well, guess what? He can learn on the fly. He can come up. It's the point that I've been making this entire time with him, is that you're not going to miss the playoffs because of James Hagens, but you might make the playoffs because of James Hagens. And if you want to say, okay, well, they're already all but locked into the playoffs, you might win a series in the playoffs because of James Hagens. You might score more. You might surprise people because of James Hagens. Yes, you can learn at the AHL level, but I think it's way more beneficial to be learning at the NHL level, especially in the middle of a playoff run in a veteran-laden team like this one.
Totally agree. They have 4 games left, and they're all against pretty good teams in Carolina, Tampa Bay, the Blue Jackets, and then the Devils to finish it off. So, like you said, it would take a pretty bad collapse for them not to get in. I hope we get some Bruins playoff hockey, because that would be really fun in the first edition of the breakdown. Because if the Bruins aren't in it, I don't know how much playoff hockey I'll be watching until the Cup. You think I should regardless?
Yeah, definitely.
Should I pick a new team? I mean, I don't want to be doing this. No, I don't want to be.
So I don't know where they are, and I would be loosely rooting for the Sharks. I don't even know if they're going to get in or not.
My cousin, my cousin's the coach, so.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot we've been over this. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Are the Sharks in right now? The Sharks are on the outside looking in. They're 2 points back in Nashville for the last spot.
So you're telling me there's a chance.
Yeah, so I've enjoyed the Sharks all year just because, I think we've been over this. I think their roster construction is so funny where they just have a bunch of journeymen veterans surrounding, Max Celebrini and Colin Graff and Will Smith and Michael Misa and all these guys.
Mm-hmm.
I ultimately my playoff affiliation comes with who I gamble on and the teams that continue to win me money as they continue to go on, except for the Panthers or I'll never root for the Panthers. I'll never root for the Maple Leafs. I'll never root for the Lightning, and I'll never root for the Canadians. Anybody else can win the cup except for those 4 teams, and I'll be okay, whatever. It's not the
That's
Bruins,
fair.
So I don't really give a shit.
I do have 8 or 9 notes here, but they're somewhat outdated. If you want me to go through them or not.
Rattle them
All
off.
right.
Let's hear them.
I knew Korpisalo was setting us up for the choke job. To be honest, I don't even remember what game that was. It might have been the Blue Jackets. I think it was because they were down 3-0 early and then mounted the comeback. But at this point, I was just mad at Korpisalo. Charlie Coyle is a bum for going at Murat Husnudinov. That was pretty obvious.
How dare you?
How dare I?
Weymouth's own.
No, I don't care. It was a great story, and he's been having a pretty good year. And
he's having a great year.
He did help in that shootout. He was the one who sent it to extras, I guess, is how you'd call it, because he scored the goal when he absolutely had to. But yeah, I don't care. Don't go at my guy. So that's that. Pavel Zacha going insane down the stretch was not on my bingo card. I gave him the Jersey of the week last week, so I think I'm probably going to go elsewhere with this one. Let's see. Marco Sturm is allowed to pick the shootout lineups again, because that was listen, I'll give credit where credit is due, just like with Masa Yoshida. He redeemed himself. He picked a good lineup. They won off a Victor Arvidsson goal in the shootout against Columbus, so he has had those duties reinstated. He is allowed by me to pick the shootout lineups again. 15 on the year for Murat Husnudinov, running out of ways to say how good he is. Let's see. Elias Lindholm redemption arc needs to be studied. Awesome time for Henry Jokiharju's first goal of the year. I want to say this one was it the Stars? Or it was one of these games.
It was, when did I have to do the Dong report?
Last Wednesday.
So it was Tuesday. Whoever they played Tuesday.
Oh, now I've lost it. Oh God. Let's see. It must have been the Stars.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
It was. Yeah.
At this point, they were only up 3-2, so that put it to 4-2. So shout out Jokiharju, not Jersey of the week. Sorry. If you score your first goal, I don't care if you're a defenseman, but if you're scoring your first goal in end of March, no.
First goal with the Bruins. And he's been on the team since last year's
deadline. Yeah, they got him from the Sabres, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. A couple more here. Victor Arvidsson remains a stud. Hat trick against a solid team is good for Jersey of the week. Shout out to him.
I was so wrong about him. I hated the deal when they made it.
I remember.
I wanted him traded at the deadline. He's been really good.
You didn't like my take.
Sign him now.
It may be, but you didn't like my take when I said I think he might have the deepest bag on the team. And
I mean, he definitely doesn't, but
maybe I said outside of Pasternak. I don't remember, but he's good. He's been pretty solid.
Yeah, he's a nice player. That second line, that whole second line's been awesome with him.
Yeah, they were like plus 20 or something on the year, like something really good.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember they were going through it on the broadcast, and I think that's one of the best lines in all of hockey, which is kind of crazy that people also didn't like Middlestat. And Zacha's been
included.
Yeah. So
I bet the only guy on the second line that I like actually liked and saw as a building block moving forward was Zacha, and even then I was like, hey, if you can get the right offer for Pavel Zacha, I think I'd move him too. But yeah, I think you have to bring back at least 2 of the 3.
Mm-hmm. And then last one here, I have Bruins versus refs in Tampa. Hate to see
Always
it because.
Is.
Yeah, did you see late that there was like a clear tripping call on Pasta?
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then they scored the empty netter.
My cousin texted before the game started and was like, "Oh, I hate to see it's Francois Saint Laurent and TJ Luxmore, who we call TJ Lux Moon, because that's where we're gonna send him on the call this one, because those are 2 refs that just notoriously bone the Bruins at every opportunity they get. So that game was a loss the second that those 2 guys were announced as the referees.
Oh, yeah, that's unfortunate. So I didn't put any notes down for today, but my notes are that sucked, but I'll take the 1 point. So I think that's all I have.
Completely bailed them out.
Yeah, he did.
McAvoy and Pasternak were both useless in the overtime. They can't stay out of the penalty box. Like in the Pasta hook, I don't really have too much of a problem with, because you take a hook to try to prevent the breakaway and you trade the penalty for extending the game. For McAvoy to immediately off the drop on that kill, just high stick Trevor Zegras for
Yeah.
what reason I don't know. That was something, and like these are the two guys that are competing to be your captains. Like you need better overtimes in games like this from those two guys in particular.
That reminds me, did you see when Geeky just like threw a stick out on the ice? And got a penalty for
McAvoy
that?
snagged. Yeah.
What the hell are we doing? It kind of gives me Red Sox vibes, where this is like a team that has overperformed, but they're also clearly pretty stupid.
Catastrophically stupid, yeah.
And they're like arguing with the refs after, like, oh, I didn't know you couldn't throw the stick onto the ice. Like, what? When has that ever happened? And the funniest part was the ref announcing the penalty, because it was literally like number 39, 2-minute minor for throwing his stick on the ice. Like, I don't think that's a formal penalty term. I haven't been watching hockey for that long, but I'm pretty confident.
I don't know that I've ever seen it.
Yeah. But we'll see. I mean, I'm pretty confident, like I said, that they make it in, and we'll be able to watch at least a series of playoff Bruins hockey. So that's exciting. I don't think I have anything else.
No, I don't think I do either.
All right. Any final thoughts on Red Sox or Bruins?
I just want the pain and suffering to end.
That's real.
That's where I'm at. Yeah.
Yep. I think that's as good a spot as any to leave it. Hopefully the pain and suffering subsides eventually. I don't think it's going to happen this series, so we might have another episode where we're also depressed. But either way, we will be with you throughout the entire season. If the ship is going down early, we are going down with it. So, as always, thanks so much for listening. We'll check in with you guys again next time.